Notification. What's up, guys? Good evening. Good morning to us. 8:24. Oh, I just realized it's plugged in. Sorry. Let's get that. All right. Getting started. Sorry, we've been so busy. I haven't always done periscopes at night for us, which is morning for you guys. Hey, what's up? How are you? What's up, Jackie? I think this is going to be a very interesting periscope, in my opinion. We're going to talk about the difference between dog tricks, dog obedience, and the need for both in order to get real world results. Also, habits and choices and what they are to me, right? I'm sorry. Create the memory. Okay. I apologize, but we're back. We're back. I've been following Andrew. I don't know if you guys have been following my brother back home, working with the board and train. It's been really cool to see. He's been doing a lot of good stuff there. A lot of updates with the team. I'll be back, heading back into the States, I think on around the 29th or the 30th, something like that. Did you see in this AM? Yeah, that was nighttime for me. Oh, awesome. What's up, Alyssa? How are you? Okay, so I guess the best way to sum it up is in life for us, there are things that we want to do growing up and things that we don't want to do, right? Really, really important. That's just how it is. Growing up as a kid, what you learn there's some things you don't want to do, but you have to do. There's some habits that you create and choices, and that's kind of where this is going to be geared. We are going to do a Q&A at the end of this, because I think you guys probably will have some questions, just in general, related and not related. But then later on, we have Meeple over there in place hanging out. We will be disappearing with him in Hong Kong and doing some fun stuff, and hopefully I'll be able to get you guys involved in that, right? How's it going, Mr. Six? All right, so is Meeple as cute as he is on Instagram? He's a little bit cuter. I definitely, through being here, have a soft spot for him, especially when you see him start to like soften up. He's a big goof. He kind of reminds me of Maxwell in a way. He's bigger than Maxwell though. Yeah, yeah. This is your hood, huh, Cohen? Okay, so go. Let's get started. It looks like we have a decent amount of people. There might be some people that are in and out, but dog tricks are something that a dog wants to do, right? It should be something that a dog wants to do. Dog tricks should be compared to me telling Hubert to go make himself a bowl of ice cream before he heads out. Like if I was like an authority figure and he's like, I want to go hang out with my friends. And I go, yeah, that's fine. Go make yourself a bowl of ice cream before you do. In a situation like that, you're not going to have a dog. What's up, Carlo? You're not going to have a dog or a human that goes, oh man, I got to make myself ice cream before I hang out with my friends. Because it's something that they want to do, right? He goes, especially if it's ice cream. He's getting ready for work over here. Gonna head out. Dog obedience is something that a dog could want to do, and if you train right, should for the most part. But at some point, it's inevitable. At some point, dog obedience must be. You need to do this whether you want to or not. And as long as you're being fair about that, that's something where you need to be able to follow through, right? So as a parent, if my kid wanted to hang out and he didn't throw out the trash and he didn't do the dishes, and I asked him to do that and he didn't want to do that because he preferred later, brother, because he'd prefer to go hang out and maybe do it after, I'm going to say, listen, if you want to go hang out with your friends, go do the dishes, throw out the trash, and clean out the garage like I had asked you to do. Right? Or just because right now I'm telling you to do it. I don't know many kids who are excited to do the dishes, throw out the trash, and clean out the garage. Especially when it's not something that they necessarily want to do. Right? So that's the difference in a way. And Tyler actually was the one that kind of put this into perspective to me, and I kind of just uh, changed it up a little bit. But he was like, "Oh, you know what? That's really interesting." Now here's the thing. Here's the thing. You need both in order to start putting things into real world, making it real world applicable. If that makes sense, right? It's very, very important, because if you do things right, if you start with dog tricks and you get dogs into the habit of working and wanting to go to do things, I'm not really necessarily shaping what you want to do yet, but I'm teaching you to go to do things, right? And this is fun, and you're getting used to listening to me, and you're getting used to taking direction. There's a lot of value to that with relationship building, and really, really becoming relevant in one aspect, or in one area, right? And then same thing with obedience. Now, when you want to make it real world applicable, it's a little bit of a mixture of both. I see a lot of people out there who, trainers included, who the whole life is dog tricks only, and it's only make yourself a bowl of ice cream. And when there's shit out in the real world that is not dog trick like, you lose the focus, and you lose the, I guess, the almost the loyalty that you had when it was something that a dog wanted to do. And that's when you run into the drive. Yeah, that's when you run into situations where sometimes what the dog wants to do is more important and more of a reward than what you are to the dog and what you're trying to get them to do, or what you have for them as like a reward, right? If a dog loves to chase squirrels, that reward is greater than you. That reward is greater than the filet mignon that you have, the piece of cheese that you have. And there are going to be situations you can work to get to the point where you're really, really relevant, and you have a better shot. But there's always going to be something in the real world that a dog wants more. Same thing with kids, same thing with humans. It's just, that's the way the world works. So obedience, that's where follow through comes in. And follow through is very, very, very important. When you say something, you get it. Now, here's the thing. If you're only trying to do dog obedience, and it's always something a dog doesn't want, and it's always something, that's kind of like, and it becomes forceful, that's when you start to get the dog that is trained purely with like compulsion, purely with like force, where you see like the lack of drive, where it's always like kind of like mopey. But if you regularly excite your dog, you regularly work your dog, and they see the benefits of things, you start to get a dog where that balance of tricks and dog obedience starts to be something that you can pull from and start to apply it to real world situations, right? Now, here's the big thing that's really important. Habits and choices kind of go hand in hand, right? If you do things all the time in life with your dog, whatever, and you guys got to heart this up. It's ridiculous if you're not hearting. Oh, I realized I didn't put my the Wi-Fi on. I think I'm on. Anyway, where was I going with this? If you regularly do these things and you create these habits, like for example, I'm gonna give human habits. I don't enjoy waking up early in the morning, but I wake up and I do it every day, because there's a time that I'm sleeping where I could get up and I could accomplish a lot versus just waking up to get here to get things done. And I hate doing it because I love my sleep, right? But I do it every day. And then I start to get into other things. I go, wow, you know what? I want to go to the gym because I want a beach body. I want to work out. I want to get healthy, right? I want to start training jiu-jitsu, but I don't have the time midday. How do I make the time? How do I make the time? I hate it. I got to wake up early. I got to do this. I don't want to. 6 a.m. gym, right? Then maybe 6 a.m. jiu-jitsu, or maybe like 7. Who knows what it is? And I hate it and I dread it, but I love to do that. But I'm shaping the habits by choosing to do this every day, and it's a choice. Here's the thing that's really important. When you do something long enough, it's still a choice, but it's not a choice that you're really kind of aware of, right? So habits and choices go hand in hand. I wake up every single day early. Sleeping in for me is not really sleeping in for the average person, right? And I'm not aware of it anymore, but because I ingrained that habit into me, even when I don't set my alarm, I still wake up early, right? And it is a choice. It's something that has become a habit. So I don't think about it. It's almost muscle memory, but I'm choosing to do that. Really, really important, right? Thank you. So in order to get to a point where a dog can start to make choices on their own, healthy choices, which we want to do. We want to get to the point where we don't have to micromanage our dog. We don't have to tell them to do this because if we didn't, they wouldn't do it on their own. Then we have to do it all the time. And the more you do it, the easier it gets for you, and the more natural it gets for the dog, where it becomes habit and they start to choose those things, right? And this is where you have to be fair, right? Assuming that what you're asking is fair of the dog, then it's okay that they in the beginning necessarily don't want to do this. You're shaping the habit because that habit that you're shaping for them allows them to make proper choices in the real world situations that you want to include them in. So that means going against what your dog might want to do initially, right? That means putting what we're doing with Meatball, understanding the value of ignoring him and not making him the center of attention, because we love him so much that we always give him attention. And when we go into the kitchen, we're eating, we always have to give him a piece of what we get. And when we do this, we always have to do this. And when he's somewhere and we see friends and it's human friends, he's always expecting to get pet first. And what happens is it makes it difficult in the situations where we can't give that to him, where I want to bring him to an outdoor cafe and every person that walks in and out of the cafe is not there for him, but he's annoying and he's in everybody's hair, and in his mind he's not being a bad dog, he's just doing what he knows. Those are his habits. You see it? So these are the choices that he makes because he's not aware that there are other choices. So we ingrain those habits and we unintentionally reinforce those things, and this is dog training 101. So this is why it's important. Nope. So look, place him. Place. Come on. Good boy. And it's just early morning. Look at that. Nope. Place. Not perfect. But it's sleepy. I don't care. I don't need drive for that, right? Oh, actually, I think he's gonna throw up here. Did you get that? Hold on. Got a dog. I keep him on that. Where do you keep real world stuff? Hold on. Yeah. Where do you keep the paper towels?
I'll just use that one, but like he'll probably lick it up.
Okay.
Wait, are you gonna lick it up?
Sorry, guys. My personal dogs do stay in New York City. I only have one dog. Yep. So, what were we talking about? So yes, sometimes our habits. You good? You sure? Okay. Sometimes our habits, we have to realize the habits that we create. So in this situation, ignoring dogs, ignoring our dogs, sometimes it's for the benefit of them if we want to include them in our life. Because this is the reality. Our life outside of our dogs, the areas where we normally wouldn't bring them, those are the areas where it's not about them. So rather than creating my dog, rather than leaving my dog home, if I know that I still took him to the park, I still exercised him, I still walked him, and now I want to go like grab a bite somewhere, I want to be able to bring my dog without him being like annoying and a nuisance. So if I practice these things regularly, it's a habit, and he makes these choices, and he's content laying down and chilling out, and he's cool seeing a person and going, yeah, that's not for me, this is what happens. And basically what we're doing is we're bringing him to an environment and we're saying, look, these things happen whether you're here or not. So this is not about you. The sooner you know that life goes on around you and you're just a part of it, it's not necessarily about you, the quicker we're going to get a dog that is not so stressed and anxious, and when the server comes for food goes, oh, what's going on over here, is that for me, and then jumping on, because normally at home he gets the food from us, or she, or whatever dog that you have, you know what I mean? So these are some of the habits that you really want to shape. Same thing for me, same thing for everybody else. Now, some of the habits that I want to shape on my end, impulse control, is I have a sweet tooth, right? And it's really bad, and she knows that. And it's a bad habit when I every night snack, because every night I start to do it, and this is what I do. Oh, I don't eat till that, but I snack every night, and then I do this and I do that. Sweets, exactly. So there are things that I can work on, and I'm slowly trying to get into a better state where I practice what I preach and what I teach, and I do that in a lot of areas. But I do lack impulse control in some areas, and that's also why I'm good at teaching it because I understand what it takes. But that's pretty much it. So dog tricks, dog obedience. You mesh that well together. You begin to get real world results, right? And it puts you in a position when you're the one that's doing that, you're relevant enough to have a say. The dog is so used to the habit of you following through, of you telling them to do this here, do that here, and it pays off for them, that they regularly make that choice whether they're aware of it or not, and that's what they start doing. Anything that you do natural as a habit in America that you had to change while in Hong Kong, not really. Hong Kong is similar. It's a very similar city to New York. The only thing I can tell you that I've had to change, yeah, driving on the other side of the road, like with the steering wheel on the other side. The only thing I think that you have to get used to initially is your sleeping patterns. So you have to like force and have like in the beginning, I guess, the impulse control to not want to take a nap throughout the day early because you know that it's not really going to help you later on. So it's like, but I did pretty good. I did pretty good. Yeah, there's really not much. It's not much that changes here. I think about it, like habits on my end, things that like I would do at home that like, oh yeah,
I don't know what you do.
you don't do that here. Oh, true. Everything's pretty much the same. Yeah, but that's pretty much it. So that was my thought. I'm not gonna ramble forever. Yes, please. This is my Hong Kong wife while I'm here. Look, everybody's hearting. She's
The wife just got up, which
the wife just got up. She's like, "You want coffee? You want everything?" And she's like, "Yes, awesome." So I'm happy about that. But what I'm gonna do is Alyssa says hi, ni hao,
Ni hao.
ni hao, yeah.
That's Mandarin.
Oh, Mandarin. You speak Mandarin and Cantonese?
Me?
Yeah.
I could
What's the language that you speak mostly?
Cantonese.
Cantonese.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Whoops."
It's okay. It's Zhou Sun means morning.
Josan.
Yeah.
Josan
Yeah.
means morning. Yeah. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. We'll go ahead and take questions now. Do a little bit of that. So that was just my thought. I wanted to share that with you. Definitely gonna do another Periscope today, which is gonna be tomorrow morning for you guys. Yeah. So what questions do we have, guys? See, and that's another interesting thing. Absolutely, you can add tricks. You can add tricks, but you got to mix it, right? The weather is better than New York City. It's a little cloudy today, but I mean, like cold here is like what, 60 degrees, 55 maybe. Like, yeah, like 60 degrees, but it's humid. So when it's like hot, it's hot. When it's cold, it's cold. You know. I come back either on the 29th or the 30th. Not sure, depending. Might be an extra day, might not. Yeah, they like me here so much. They're trying to get me to move in. I'm like, guys, I can't. They're like, just move in. We have a room for you. Oh, yeah, awesome. No, I appreciate it. Somebody goes, this was needed on so many levels, this Periscope, this topic. And it relates to everybody. It relates to like why I'm here with Meatball and all that stuff. What did you say? Hello from Brazil? Awesome. I think it was Brazil. So yeah, ask those questions, guys. Ask away. I think it's just really important to kind of share that. Only if you're having. Nah. Mind that sitting on the sofa with me is only not automatic. Yeah, but the thing is, when it becomes an everyday thing, it's what you do. You know what I mean? And it's slipping grades. Yeah, everything's habitual. Everything's habitual. And in order to make it a habit, sometimes it means you must make choices that you don't want to in the beginning or that are tough for you. Like I understand waking up in the morning and going to the gym. Yeah, you can do those things, Alyssa, but the thing is, it can't be. I love food, yeah, and I love the food here. Oh, Belize, Central America, yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you. If this is your first scope. Yeah, so it's fine that he's allowed on your puppy, but on the sofa like every day since he was a pup. But here's the thing: the reason why you struggle is because you never showed him the other way. You see it? So you have to show them the alternative choice. Like, what if something else? Like, you know what I mean? We know that the dog wants to do this. We know the dog just wants to say hi, but we're not always going to allow the dog to say hi, or we're not going to be able to even if we want to. So let's teach him how to not do that. She's got that, but here's the thing: you need to hold her out more. So, because with someone like Lola, she struggles hardcore with impulse control, around situations that are not normal. I would normally do this. So the feeding time is the preparation. It's the wax on, wax off for the real stuff. If she does it regularly in the situations that she doesn't have to, then when it comes time to be able to do it, she'll do it. I just watched a video the other day, and it was from a guy that trains jiu-jitsu, right? And oh yeah, that's Kim, Dog Walker, and he was talking about like his road to success because the guy's like a world champion. And I was actually watching this video last night, and he's like, you know what? I don't know, but I know the habits that I create are what help me to be like game ready come time to perform. And he was talking about what it's like. He's like, you're gonna have a bunch of matches that are 20-30 minutes apart, and sometimes people get tired from that. He's like, me, when I roll, or when he spars, when he trains, he's having the same amount of matches back to back to back. And what he chooses to do, unlike others, sometimes people have an ego and they don't want to submit and they don't want to tap, so they only go up against like the better ones when they think they have a fair shot. He says he only chooses the better ones throughout, even if he's exhausted and he's getting ready to to go up against that person, and he taps and it's fine because he trains it every single day, and he's in a position where now it's his fifth roll back to back, and now he's going up against the other best guy in the class, and he's gonna get tapped, but it puts him in a position where he's so ready for it. Yes, he does. Yeah, that he's so ready for it that when the time comes in the real match, when it's 20-30 minutes apart, this guy's been training where he's been killing himself every day. You know what I mean? So now the habit and the choices, it's super easy. He didn't have to do that. He could have easily only went up against the best when he was like at the start of his match, and then when he was getting more tired, go with like just people that were like so-so, right? But that's not what he did. He like deliberately worked his way up, So it's all habits and choices. All habits and choices. Yeah, I'll take one of those. Thank you. Thanks, Mom. Beautiful. Yeah, and that's what you do. Little things like that. You see the little triggers, very little triggers where a dog struggles. That doesn't really matter, right? So, for example, like I'm not against feeding dogs food or doing this or doing that, but when a dog struggles and is always expecting it, let's say he's always expecting it and he struggles in some other areas where he's expecting something, it's hard to tell him to expect something else where we can't do it in an area that doesn't matter, right? So, for example, you said Lola, she might be used to being around you for food or something, and it's fine because she's not a problem. She might lay down next to you, she's okay, she's not whining, but she's maybe the polite beggar. You slip her a little something and she's kind of chill, but you never challenge that and say, what happens if I didn't want you around me and I just want you to hold a place over there? Like, what happens if, and then all of a sudden you see that the dog can't do that, and you go, well, it's not a big deal. Like, I tried, but it's not a big deal. She's not bad. No, it is a big deal because that helps you in the other areas. It's an impulse. It's an urge that she feels where she wants to do this and you're telling her to do something else, and she goes, I'll try. No, I can't do that, and she goes. You need to create that. You need to drill it and drill it and drill it till the point where it becomes a habit, and then it's an easy choice the dog can make. And then eventually it goes from a choice that the dog can make to a choice that the dog is not aware that they're making. They just do it. You make it all about the don't feel bad for the dog where people don't always say hi or you don't always acknowledge the dog. Teach a dog how to be included in your life, not you be included in their life. So the question was, how do you what was the question? How do you make it not about the dog? And how do you make it not about the dog? And it's like not always feeling the need to acknowledge your dog. You ever notice like with Andrew's dog or with my dog, when our dogs hang out, they just exist with us because they're not expecting much. You see what I mean? So it's almost like they're humble or like grateful. There's no like expectation.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, when are you going to pet me? And this person that comes, hey, when are you going to give me food? And when are you going to do this? And when is it? It's not about you. Like, I was going to do this whether you were here or not. And I'm including you. This is how I expect you to act. Right? So, like, that's pretty much what it is. And then down the road, it pays because they get other things. So yeah. And you see, so Copper's going through that because it was usually always about him. And now you're working at the training center and he needs to learn how to be included. All dogs have to learn this. All humans have to learn this to some degree. Make it serious to a dog, but not a big deal to all. Yeah, exactly. It's like, no, I mean, this is what you're going to do. And then, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
There's a lag on it. I can't watch it on here.
You can't?
Well, I could, but like, there's a lag in it.
Oh, if he keeps... Oh, I see what you mean. How do you show him that you're serious? Well, this is the thing. You have to mean what you say, right? So here's a softer way that you can start. This is what I always say. You don't have to be mean, but you have to mean what you say. So the question is, how do you show them that you're serious if they keep like breaking over and over and over again, right? So you have to practice being serious in other areas. You have to practice showing them that they don't get certain things when they make certain choices. So before you get serious, working them for their food and having them make certain choices that are mistakes, the consequence is them maybe not getting the food. And in the beginning, that might not mean something, but they have to figure out what they have to do or how they have to act to get it. And when you're always regularly following through in little areas, eventually when you say something and your tone changes and you're like, hey, and you have the tools that you need to work a dog, it's easy. So we were actually at dinner last night, and everyone at the table was pretty much a dog lover, I guess, right? So somebody was asking, well, my dog does this. How do I fix this? And how do I do that? And it was tough because I know how to do it, but there's really no short answer, right? Because the behavior was different that she was struggling and that he was struggling with, but the answer was the same. So the example that I give, and I'm probably going to end on this note because we're going to get ready to walk Meatball in a little bit, is if I want to teach you how to change the oil in my car that is different from changing the oil in other vehicles, I understand that I have to give you directions to walk you through how to do it, right? So before I try to address the problem, which is my oil needs changing, I need to teach you how to do that, I need to make sure that the directions that I'm giving you are in a language that you understand. That's the problem that everyone has with their dogs. They try to address problems and the dog doesn't speak the language clearly, right? So let's assume that none of you guys speak German. I need to not try to teach you how to change the oil on my vehicle and give you directions in German. I need to first teach you German. Once you understand the German language, I go, yes, now we have, and these are the tools. This is how we use the leash. This is how we use food. This is how we use the remote collar. This is how we do all of this stuff, right? And if the dog is used to that language, then I can work them through the problem. But you can't work a dog through a problem if they don't have the foundation set. You can do it, but you run the risk of stressing a dog out. You run the risk of tools that help you actually working against you. That's where you see the occasional study, like a correction or this and that, or disagreeing with your dog will add to more stress or create aggression. It's like, yeah, if you're doing it wrong, lack of clear communication will do that, not that itself. You know what I mean? So guys, I got to get going. We're going to go ahead and get this guy out in a little bit. I'm going to finish my coffee and my banana. I'm going to do a scope later on, and we'll definitely answer some more questions. All right, guys.